10 seconds.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the View from the Dead Box. We are coming off a week of doing not shit.
A week of doing not shit. Yeah, we didn't play any paintball this weekend. I don't know if anybody from any of our teams played this
Nah,
weekend.
doubt it.
It was I feel like we say this every 5 or 6 weeks. Everyone kind of deserved an off weekend because I mean you did a lot of traveling,
Yeah.
more than the rest of us, but everyone has been.
And then I ended up traveling anyways.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a tough one what you did. I saw what you did.
We bought a new side by side. So we decided to go where me and you typically go to up at Durham Town. We took the bikes back up there, the 450 and the side by side. And it started. We haven't had any of the 450s ever go down.
Yeah,
they're just goat bikes. And she's out there riding it on the very first trail. I'm like, hey, you lead, and me and Dan will stay behind you on the side by side because well, typically I like to be in the back or the front if I'm riding with a whole bunch of experienced riders. It's fine.
yeah.
But if I'm the most experienced, I like them to go in the front, and then I'll just lag in the back, and then I can boost up and dick around while I'm waiting. Because if something goes on, they react, they crash, they stall, or something, I can see what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, that first main entrance road going all the way back with the big long jumps.
Yep.
We go through all the jumps, get all the way to the front because she didn't want me to be behind her first. Just let you lead. So me and Dan rip down this fucking trail. We get to the front. We're waiting for like 10 minutes. She's not there. Typically, she's pretty quick. She should be like on her ass. Tons of bikes are going by. So we're like, all right, something's wrong. So we loop all the way around, redo the whole front side.
Yeah, because it's a one-way trail for people that don't know. So
yeah, so you loop all the way around, go up, reset, come back, redo it. She's broke down, and it's like losing power. We can't find out what's spitting and sputtering. Finally, long story short, I started digging around because it's a tuned bike with a power commander. I started ripping into it, and then find out that the battery cable is actually broken and barely making connection onto the power commander side of the coil. So rip it off, run to the pro shop, get one, make it, come back, slap it on, boom, bike's good to go.
Yeah.
So, and we had my 450 still here at the house. We were gonna bring both of them, and my first thought is, I'm like, I knew I should have brought both bikes. Fuck.
Yeah,
and then it ended up being just a jump. When she was jumping with it, it broke the battery cable. So 10-second fix, boom, good to go. So
that's awesome. Yeah,
and then we rode all day Saturday and came back Saturday night. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I didn't do shit. I cleaned. I had just a lot of shit I had to do at the house.
Oh, that's what we did Sunday. Nothing
at
all. Played Tarkov all day. It was great.
Yeah, I kept like checking like Saturday. I was on like because I had a dinner at like 2 on Saturday because girlfriend, she's giving away that guide dog, like trades it in, gets a new one, so everyone wanted to like see the dog. Yeah. So I was like looking, I was like, I'm gonna have to cut out early if we play Sunday. So I'm like not making a big deal about it. And then I was like, good, no one has said anything Saturday night. I'm assuming everyone's taking the weekend off. If no one has chirped, I was like, that worked out well. So yeah. But yeah, I was low on topics too. And so I reached out to your wife and I was like, give me some ideas. I was like, because you're around it enough. And one of these kind of feeds into something else. So we'll kind of see how it goes. So we've had Chris on here, Chris Rangel, and he posted in the paintball talk, buy and sell a couple days ago, I guess. And it was his thing saying, just an idea. It would be awesome to see a league, promoter, etc. have a series that is multi-formatted, where your team had to play 5, 7, 10-man over the course of the season. An example, first event is 10-man Mech Woods, event 2, traditional X-Wall, and event 3, 7-man. He said it would provide year's end, and you'd have like actually be able to see who the best team is. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a great idea. I don't think it could come to fruition only for the reason that a lot of teams, I don't think, have the backing to do all that. Like a lot of teams struggle just to have a 5-man team or just to have an X-ball line. Now, if you have an X-ball line, you can almost play all three of those setups.
Yep.
So it is possible, but a lot of teams that play just X-ball train just for X ball and they don't want to play anything else because they're training for that for other leagues throughout the season. But I think it's a really good idea. I just don't know how it would translate to everybody wanting to do those.
Do you think you could modify it in such a way where it's like, let's say like you use the traditional X ball line as your gauge. So obviously that's 5-on-5, but you typically have 7 to 8 players are on most of these rosters, right? It would almost be like you'd go play and then plus like a pit crew. You'd almost have to pull your pit crew to be your 10-man, right? You think you think teams could do it like that? Do you think that would be a way some of these teams who might not have 10 players, because most of the people that are in the pits, I would say, could play for the most part. I mean, there's sometimes where it's wives and girlfriends that don't play.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't. You wouldn't be throwing them out in 10-man neck in the woods. They'd probably break a fingernail. But anybody else, what do you think? You think that'd be a way to get the extra players where you could actually have a 10-man team for that format, or do you think they still wouldn't be competitive enough?
Yeah, well, I mean, depends on what division you play as well.
You have to almost do it open, something like this.
Yeah,
you know
then there's no way in hell.
Yeah.
The guys that are in the pits sticking around are not going to be able to compete in open.
I mean,
they might be competing D5, D4, possibly.
That's true.
Open? No. They'd be getting fucking mopped up. So, boom. Next topic. That one's done.
Well, no, I said this leads into another one.
Dead.
This leads into another one.
I do think it's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea, too. I was worried about the 10-man portion just because of the number of players. I think the 7-man could be done.
Easy. Yeah.
And I think even playing in the woods, it would almost be like...
But a lot of guys that play, like I said, play X-Ball don't want to play in the 5-man format anymore.
Yeah. I mean, my thing would be you would almost have to... But this goes right back to what you said, not want to play 5-man format. You'd have to ditch the 10-man maybe and literally keep it 5-man, and then you play like 5-man in the woods, an X-Ball event, and then the standard 5-man. You know what I mean? And you almost get rid of the 7-man in that, or you maybe could keep the 7-man even, and then you could do 3. I think you'd have to get rid of the 10-man to make that work.
10-man would be the most difficult.
Yeah, I think.
And you can get away with playing 7-man on a 5-man field to a certain extent.
Yeah, that's true too.
10-man, absolutely not.
That would be a good way to do it if you did you kept it on the same. You released one layout.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say the full year. If you staggered the events properly, you could probably do something. Maybe use 2 layouts. So I guess it would be 3 layouts for 4 events. You'd have 1 or like 2 airball layouts and then 1 woods layout, whatever that would be. But then you share that between like an X ball, a 5-man, and 7-man playing on the same field as the X ball.
Yeah. Because
that would change how the field completely plays different. You know what I mean? That's adding literally 4 more bodies onto that field. So I mean, that's 14
I also feel
players.
Like playing in a format where points come back into play, like your survival, your body's alive and your body's killed, and the flagpole all count for points.
Yeah, like old school 5-man.
Yeah.
That would be a good way to do it too. You could do that, and even the 7-man, and like if you did a traditional 5-man, if this was a real thing. This is all.
I just got a notification that I don't know if I can release this yet, but like I haven't seen any information on it yet besides in this picture.
Are you sure? But, where'd the picture come from?
There's a new TFX coming out, and it's shipping today.
Well,
for HK.
If it's shipping today.
That's what it is. I don't know if it's shipping to them.
It's probably shipping to distributors today.
Yeah. So, I haven't heard anything on it whatsoever. There was a joke about it in chat a little while back, but I just got the text saying if you're looking for an HK, let me know.
Yeah.
TFX, so.
Just be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't hopped and looked at new gear. I was just looking to see if there's anything on ANS. Do you see the HK gloves with the Velcro patches on the knuckles? I have not seen those until
I love those gloves. Those are the gloves that I use, but they are literally my gloves with the Velcro stitched on. Because mine are the one last gen, so they're the same thinness. Because I never use gloves until I use those gloves, and they're super razor thin, kind of like the carbon gloves, but a little bit better. But these now are my gloves, but they put Velcro on this, put letters on them, which is.
It looks cool, but I feel like it get in the way, and I already don't like gloves.
Yeah, I think it's just gimmicky, really.
It is.
But my thing is I don't. When we were at in Philly, I didn't see I was thinking about another pair of my gloves They're finally starting to get a little bit stretched out on the fingertip side. You can see the holes in them. They don't have mine anymore. They only make them in the Velcro.
Yikes.
So I don't know if that's a thing. So
at least I bet you could probably take like a razor knife and cut the stitching of that Velcro. You know what I mean?
I would just probably buy. Well, I say I'm being cheap because the HK stuff for us is like given to us.
Yeah.
But the Carbon has cool gloves, but they wear out super fast, and I don't get a huge break on that kind of stuff. Yeah. So if I can get free gear, I'm taking free gear.
I don't blame you. Going back to our little topic, this kind of so Chris also posted that picture of Ollie Lang.
That's
sheesh. That's turned into a shit show.
God,
it's a lot to read. But it's talking about how Ollie Lang got 100K.
Why don't you go ahead and read the Oliver Lang, like
the first
picture.
part?
Yeah, read the picture of him.
Okay. It says, in 2007, you left Dynasty and signed a deal with Dye to play for the Ironman. Many people thought that moment represented a sea change for paintball. That's kind of misspelled probably. And deals like yours would become the norm. But 10 years later, growth in paintball seems stagnant.
Now, this is somebody speaking to Oliver Lang in an interview.
Yeah. And Oliver Lang responded with, the only way we reach mainstream public is when the current players who actually have ethics and who care about the game with no hidden agendas retire and create a new league for the players, by the players. When players on all levels realize they must support the big picture, there is not just one sponsor. What do you say? Because I know how you feel about NXL.
Yeah.
And my feelings are not as harsh as yours, I would say.
Yeah.
But I see flaws.
Yeah, well, obviously being around Chris and having like Tom Cole come up and talk to us often at these NHL events, you get a little bit of insight, but some of his numbers just seem so off.
Right?
Like he told us. I don't know if I can say this or not. He told us.
If you don't think you can say it, don't get Chris in trouble.
It takes $1 million to take down that and set up and take down Philly. That's how much it cost.
That's
$1 million. $1 million to set it up and take it down. It's for one event. That's what he said. Man, I have a hard time believing it takes $1 million.
I do too.
$1 million.
So you're telling me
there is a lot of breakdown. Trust me. I see all the
imagine.
stuff behind the scenes with Chris. So I understand a lot of the breakdown. But $1 million for one event?
I mean, when you look at these events, right? They're typically 3 to 4 day events. You know what I mean? Rough, give or take a day here and there.
They're there the week of. They're there like on a Monday.
Yep. Well, I imagine you have to, and you're probably there up until the Wednesday after the event. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah.
You might have been there the full week.
That's how Bunkerfest was. Yeah.
So
Chris was there like early that week, Monday or Tuesday, and then he was there to like Wednesday or Thursday of the next week cleaning up.
So let's say it's a 2-week ordeal total, right? 14 days, two full weeks. $1 million in 2 full weeks of that's your minimum overhead, right? You know what I mean? That's not even like counting the people you've paid. If that's just tear down of the venue, set up and tear down, I'm assuming. I don't, again, have no idea. That just doesn't seem to make sense to me.
It seems way too expensive. Now, listen to Matty Marshall speak about it before. He says the money, like everybody's like, where's the money at? Where's the money at? I don't understand. Pay the players. Where's the money at? He's like, there is no money. The money isn't here. It's already, it's gone. I think it's bullshit because I know what Tom charges the fucking vendors and they charges all the sponsors. I know what he charges them.
Yeah.
So it's just.
Well, everybody does.
Yeah.
At this point.
You know what I mean? It's like.
But my thing is like, so I've listened to that podcast with Maddie too. I've heard him talk about it. He said that like back in everyone's glory days, early 2000s, everyone has said there was money, but they knew it wasn't sustainable. How did that money get there in the first place? You know what I mean? Why can't we get that back and learn how to make it sustainable? If you had those big sponsors
the way he says it is that they were burning money by the pile, by the fucking dump truck. They were just setting it on fire at this point, praying that Coke or Pepsi or somebody would step in and go, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
and jumping on and sponsor the events. Well, there was nobody that came along,
Yeah.
so no sponsor ever grabbed it, which doesn't
Just
make
want to know
really
where that
sense to me.
initial money came from.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, yeah. Well, I mean, there was a lot of people back then, and money was everything was kind of cheaper back then.
Yeah, I guess.
So money was still the same. People had a lot of money. I mean, I don't know. That's what I get so mad about all like the IDs and the entry
Mhm.
fees and the prizes. I'm like, man, it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't really make sense.
The
Like,
IDs are the one. I mean, obviously, we did an entire podcast literally about IDs. I mean, I was gonna do some of that math again, but I mean, there's World
well, I
Cup,
think the math for Philly was like almost 500 grand for entry fees.
and then you're probably getting that in IDs too. Like, probably
I
not
mean,
that
granted,
much.
the mass buy was like you still get people to buy events every event because some guys
Yeah,
only play certain events, but you're charging them 50, $60 per person per ID. Plus, everybody who wants to come in the pit has to buy an
yeah,
ID. Anybody who wants to walk back there has to buy an ID. So it's kind of fucking wild how much money you're making off of one team when you consider like 4 or 5 non-players have to buy IDs. That's $200 a team, bare minimum.
yep. And then I mean, like I said, if we just took Cups numbers, right?
Yeah,
There's 500 teams at Cup, give or take, between 450 and like 600. So if you had 500 teams, let's say times 5 players, right? That's 2,500 players. Times 50 for IDs, that's $125,000.
yeah. So
You
let's
know
just
what
say
I mean?
let's just say 100 grand.
Yeah, let's say it's 100
Or
grand each event, right? I mean, give or take.
yeah, I mean, it's not gonna be that much
But
but I mean, I know what you're meaning.
yeah, it's just
Because a lot of teams aren't, or a lot of players want to buy them every event.
yep.
But still, the entry fees and the sponsors and I don't see it costing $1 million to
I
break
mean,
it
and the
down.
refs, I don't know what a paintball ref gets paid, but it can't be. I heard
Um,
numbers back in the day, but I don't know if they were
it's
ever
in between
accurate.
$200 and $300
I
a
always
day.
heard 250.
That's what it
Yeah,
was. Yeah, it's $200 to $300 a day, and then if you're a head or an ultimate, I think it's like 350.
yeah,
So it's not like groundbreaking money. It's good,
no,
decent money, but yeah, would I do that for that money? No,
fuck no. I
no.
mean, it's $1,000 weekend. You know what I mean? But because I'm sure you got to pay your way to get out there. You know what I mean? They're not doing all that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just wild to me. But do you think we could ever get back to that, or do you think literally what Ollie Lang said here, you'd have to have a whole new
Well,
crew of
it's evolving
players?
now. Like players are already getting out and making these events.
Uh huh.
Like for the player event, you've seen that one. That
Yep.
one's been slowly getting built up. What
Yep.
Chris is doing, that's the same kind of thing. A lot
Yep.
of these leagues that are coming around are from old players.
Yep.
WCPPL for a hand. You've seen Mike Hinman in there
Yep.
talking.
Yeah, he was posted right
Um,
on Chris's.
yeah. So like he runs probably the second biggest event in the United States. And MVPS. So the events are there. Now, can those be WCBL is really nice, but the only thing I critique MVPS on is paint prices. I
Yep.
wish the paint prices were down a little bit, but I mean,
I think that can
I
come and go. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's a hard one at that point because in general the price is good. We've had Alex on here. We're not saying this just because of that. We wouldn't play the league if we didn't like it. um,
yeah.
I mean I think that should go for any
But
team.
entry fees are super cheap
Entry
compared to most
fees
other
cheap.
places.
Prizes are pretty good.
Yeah,
The IDs, I mean, everybody does an ID, even though I don't like it, so that is what it is. I mean, it's just the paint prices are a little higher, but they're not bad.
yeah.
But I don't know. It's wild. I mean, and Mike Hinman's posted in here, and everyone's kind of backing. You know what I mean? Everyone kind of agrees with him. So obviously the NXL's had to hear this. What do you think they think? Obviously, this is just you speculating. Just do you think they go, oh wow, people are,
No, everybody NXL sees everything.
yeah,
There's enough rats that talk to the guys in the NXL that there's enough posts everywhere on all the paintball pages that people see the NXL getting shit on. Which it doesn't make sense to me, is all the players would have to do is just blackball the NXL, just boycott it for like 2 events. Don't go.
yeah,
Let the fucking 30 teams go. Fuck them. Let them go. Just
yeah,
don't go to the event. Listen, we're not coming to your event and to triple the prizes, because the entry fees coming in are out of the fucking water. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't charge a team $3,000 for entry fee or $2,800, whatever it is, and then when they win, you don't make money.
Yeah.
It's like what? You know what I mean? Like I make more money winning 5-man at in Excel than I do winning
Yeah.
X-ball there. It's wild. It's
It is
fucking wild
crazy.
to me. You know, I can take like second place at when we took second. I took first, second, and third there. When we finish second or first, I make more money than when I do when I win X Ball.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really. It's wild. It's insane that they can charge that much money and that many teams still go to those events when there are that many regional events. MSXL, MVPS, WCPPL. I don't like to talk about the USXBL because I think it's ran by fucking Nazis. I think it's the Rabakov people, but they
I believe
wipe
so,
all
yeah.
the slates clean, and then so D4 teams are D4 teams forever, D3 teams are D. So a lot of those teams are now traveling these other events like
Yep.
Bunkerfest and beating the fuck out of people because they've been playing D3X for like 5 seasons and they win a lot of the events. They should be D2, D1 by now, but they can't because USXBL wipes their rosters right before the event starts, every single event. So you get 0 points for every event you win or place or play. So it's fucking insane. That event should be boycotted and taken off of APPA.
Yikes!
It's cheating. It's literally.
It is, because that defeats the point of having a ranking system, which is needed.
Why I'm on APPA if you're not going to count my points?
Yep.
It's a pretty big league. Like it's not a small league. USXBL has been around for a little bit, so it's not like a fucking shitty league. It's been around. It's pretty big, but that event should be closed down, or not on APPA. You can run your league. That's fine. I'll allow it. But you should not be on APPA because
those players should not be.
Yeah, you shouldn't have players that can play for a team for 4 fucking seasons at D4, D5, D3, whatever, and get 0 points.
Yeah, I agree.
That's literally sandbagging to the full extent. You know what I mean? So, but I'm sure there are like somewhere else that do that kind of bullshit too. But the MSXL,
none of the big ones do
that. And WCPL and all those events, NRPL, none of those do it. Those are all by the book. So EPL, all those shit, it's just fucking insane that they can get away with that.
I want to go back to something you said. I'm going to cut you off here because you're going to bash them, which I like. I like you bashing people. But so you've played longer than I have. Did you, when you guys would win tournaments? I mean, because I watched y'all win a whole 2007 and 2008 season of GFOA, and I know the prizes were shit, and that's over like 13 years ago now.
Yeah.
Were y'all coming home with any bit of prize money after those, or were you just barely breaking even? Just out of curiosity.
Well, so those
Those events were cheaper. I mean, they were only $200 entry, maybe.
It's $50 a person.
Oh, okay,
fee, so.
And you were maybe shooting 2 cases each.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
So
they
typically had $250 entry fee, and then we shot about 10 to 12 cases of paint per event. We normally shot. We always made money playing those events.
And I'm sure it wasn't a lot, but
no, we always made money. And at the end of the season prizes were pretty decent.
It was guns,
now, when the GFOA went on, it kind of slowly fell off.
Yeah.
To where the prizes got a little less and less and less, and then it died. Well, CFOA was good back in the day too.
Yeah.
Hell, we traveled and played the ACTS, the Axe, all the time because we fucking destroyed everybody. We played Manus for like 2 seasons. We played Cross-Eyed, CP. We played all those teams and just beat them in the dirt. But the best thing about those were they were a cash-based system. So, I want to say it was like 80% of every entry fee was given. It was thrown into a pot. So this is how it worked. I'm pretty sure that I have this right. Like, let's say for simple math, entry fee, which was not this high, but I'm just going to say it this way. Let's say every entry fee was $1,000 and only 10 teams showed up. You take 1,000 times 10, 10,000. You take 80% of that, $8,000. That goes into a prize pool. The other 20% is set aside for the field and the refs to pay all them off, right?
Yep.
That 80% is taken and divided up into all your prizes. So out of that 80%, this is for one division now, because they were just saying 10 teams, one division. That $8,000 would go 70% for first, like 20% for second, or it might have been 60, 30, 10.
I think it was
I think
60,
might have
30,
been,
10.
yeah. So 60, 30, 10. Anyways, that's roughly how it worked. And you never had to worry about the field or any losing money because the teams covered the entry fee, which covered the
Yep.
prizes. And the more teams that came, the bigger the fucking paydays.
Yep.
So we would always average about 25 or 30 teams per division. So we made fucking loot.
Oh,
Hell,
yeah.
I didn't graduate. Like I went there, I graduated on paper, and then there's a whole week of like your graduation practice. I'm like, hey, I have an event. I have to go take top 3. If I take top 3, we get series prizes. We already have it wrapped up. Like,
Yeah.
or sorry, top 4. I think we had to pretty much just breeze into it. It wasn't even like a hard event, and we win the series prize, which I think was like 5 shockers at the time back in the day, 5 SFTs. And I said,
probably an event cash from that event too.
Yeah, yes. And so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna graduate. I'm not gonna walk. Can I just get my diploma? They gave my diploma. I got to get off school a week early. Didn't have to go to the fucking ceremony and all that shit. And I went to the tournament and played because the prizes were so good. Like it was dumb not to play. It was like I'm losing money, not good. We would make money coming home. Like it would make good money.
Oh yeah,
playing those events. We were like, we were profiting all kinds of money. And then at the end of the season, you got 5 shockers. You're like, oh, great. And back then, they were fucking still worth a grip. So you sold all 5 of them. You paid for your cup and everything else. And you paid for the whole entire trip, the housing, the gas, your food, all the lodging, all your pay entries. You paid for all that shit just by playing another series. Which I think that's how MVPS is doing their series prizes. I think for like first, second, and third, they pay like, I think first is like a full entry for cup and like 30 cases of paint. And then it goes slowly down like that, like and then half entry for cup, and so it's kind of cool. And a lot of events are doing that. You win there, and then they pay for your entry for cup, which is very expensive, obviously, especially for X Ball because they're paying D4 X Ball. I think MVPS pays for like cup and like 20 or 30 cases for like first place, and so it's like $2,000 they paid for plus paint.
I'm pulling that up right here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the series prizes of the MVPS, which are really good when you think about it because. A case of paint, if you pay, say $30, let's just say, you're looking at $600 in paint. If you move on, you're probably looking at fucking closer to $1,000 in total paint.
They're doing it a little different this year, which this to me is still a good prize pool. D4 X Ball is granted half entry to all major MVPSs the next season, so you get half entry to each event the following year, plus a cool little belt and then rings. So. I mean, it's not as good as cup, but that's still, it's half. It would be nice to maybe throw some paint in there too. You know what I mean? Maybe 10 cases of paint per event if you won the year before or something. But that's how each division is actually. D3X is the same, D4X, D5 5-man, and D6 3-man.
Which is probably about the same if you think about it. It's 5 events, and it's
just like spreading it out basically.
Yeah, and so then paying for it all at cup. Yeah. So, I don't know. We would definitely make money on those events though. All those series, all those like somewhat local. Because Weston was just talking about the other day. He's like, remember when we used to play local events to win money to go afford to go play bigger events? I'm like, yeah. He's like, we gotta find some of those like smaller events to go beat up people and take their money.
You tell them good luck.
I'm like, they're not really around anymore. I'm like, because they're all kind of gone. I'm like, all the ones we play now are bigger events.
I want to, and I've said this for a couple of years, and it's just I don't know. I'd have to probably talk to Chris, but I think. We could do a one-off event at the beginning of a year and give out a cash prize to first place only. I don't give a shit about second, third cash prize. It'd be no APPA. Probably run a 5-man race to 2, something we could keep very easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think we could do a one-off event each year to like fundraise, or we could even do a fun event at the end of the year. Something crazy like a 7-man on an X-ball field on Cup's layout or something at the end of the year and have all these people that just played 6 weeks on this, do it right at the beginning of December or something. But I've yet to figure out a good way to do that. That's not overly complicated because my brain doesn't work like that. Do it. But every year I talk about it, but I'm like, I'd have to start planning now, and then I have to make sure Hoppers would let us, which I think they would, as long as he got something.
They've already told us that a couple times that we can do an event and use all the profit from that event to fund our season. So
and he gets all the paint money.
Yeah.
So, but all right, I got one more little topic. I kind of cheated Yeah, well, I cheated for myself. I had all day to think about it. You're getting put on the spot. Um, so, your wife wanted to know who our top 5 teams are.
Of all time?
Nope, currently of the 2021 season.
Okay.
So,
That's
I will.
pretty easy.
That's pretty easy. Oh, I was going to give you some time to think.
No, I don't need time to think.
All right, well, spit them out then.
As of right now,
As of right now.
I would say Heat at 1.
Okay.
Impact at 2.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna slip in. I'm trying to think 3 to 4. I'm probably gonna slip in Infamous.
Okay.
At 3, Dynasty at 4, and probably. I want to say the Russians at 5, but it really is. They didn't have a good showing at last event. They kind of got beat up a little bit.
Yeah.
And Aftermath had a really good showing, and also it's crazy watching Seattle play because Seattle had really good showings, but they kind of got beat up on a little bit when it came time for like the fucking pay the piper.
Pay the piper.
When they got paired up against like big teams, they
Yeah.
didn't pair off too well. And I also think Aftermath was looking really good this last.
They were.
event.
They had some good, like shines of greatness. I guess I could say. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
oh, they're on the cusp of, you
It
know what I
was-
mean, going over that hill and being like, all right, here we go. We are playing with the big boys.
Yeah, and so I think out of them, probably say, I think for 5. There's so many teams right kind of all like bunched together.
It's a little tough right there. Like I can do my first 3. I'm similar to yours, but
yeah. I guess I would probably say Russian Legion at 5.
Okay.
So I think they're running this event with the 6 people.
Yep.
And they're doing really well for having 6 people. So I think when they add a couple bodies, I think it's gonna be a little bit, or when their guys actually come back.
Yeah.
It's gonna
from
be
the motherland.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit different. So.
Yeah, I had Impact as 1. I mean, I think that's
Impact.
I have Impact as 1. Dude, they've taken first and second at the first 2.
Yeah,
events.
well,
that's hard.
He didn't have the people they did.
I'm just saying. But number 2, I have Heat. He took 11th the first event. So, you know what I mean? They played really good and they won. So that's that's my 1 and 2.
They have Harmon now.
I'm just saying.
And they have Fedorov. Listen, they had no Harmon and no Fedorov the first.
Did they
event.
not have Fedorov the first event?
No.
Okay. Well, anyway,
the first event is back.
They took 11th. They took 11th. That's all I'm going off of.
Well, they beat down Impact pretty good. So.
Just saying. I'm giving Impact 1, Heat 2. Number 3. I'm putting the Russians a little higher than you, just because.
Putting the Russians at 3.
I'm putting the Russians at 3 because of the same reasons. They're playing with so little guys, and they've taken. I'm looking over here, 4th and 5th. That's hard. You know what I mean? That's very consistent. 4th or 5th.
You're putting them above Dynasty now.
I'm putting them above Dynasty. Yep.
Really?
Dynasty is my 5th, and I would put Infamous at 4. But again, I think my 5th could almost be. I could almost throw Seattle Thunder in there. Like I think Seattle Thunder or Dynasty could both be in 5th place. Like it's hard because I'm looking here too. Seattle Thunder's been very consistent. They've taken 5th and 6th. You know what I mean? And that's right there as well.
Yeah, I think my list is a little better than yours.
I don't know. We'll see.
We're talking about current. We're talking about current.
I'm talking about current right now.
I mean, Impact at 1 and 2. Impact does have the 1 spot for sure, but I think it's because Heat did not have Fedorov, did not have Harmon. With Fedorov and Harmon, that fucking roster absolutely shits on Impact roster.
Oh, they did. They obviously won. I mean, that was
with those 2 bodies being on that roster.
Did they really not have?
No, Fedorov just came back 2 weeks prior to this event. I told you that whole. I didn't tell you that story. I had to tell you that story offline of how he got back in the States. But yeah, he was not. He was stuck in Russia. They wouldn't let him come back. He was not allowed to come back to the States. It's wild. And then he magically got accepted to come back in. I'll tell you how. You know,
I can imagine.
It's wild.
I'll let you tell me right here because we're getting ready to close this thing out.
Yeah. So.
Don't tell now.
No, I'm not.
Oh, I thought you were really getting ready to spend. I'm like, I didn't mean right now. I meant like in 5 to 10 minutes.
No. So yeah. So now with the Heat roster the way it is, I have a feeling they'll probably, unless something terrible happens, they'll probably win all the events the rest of the season.
You think so? I don't know if they'll win them all.
Yeah.
I think they.
Hey, NYX looked pretty good too.
NYX did look pretty good. They're not quite fifth. I think
I'd probably put them at 6. I'd probably say I go Heat, Impact, Infamous, Dynasty, Russians, NYX.
I mean, that would be fair, but I think you got to put Seattle Thunder up there too.
Seattle Thunder doesn't play well, and they play it when it comes time to really fucking play.
I mean, that might be true,
They're
but
prelim kings. When it comes time to fucking get down, fine. They can't play.
Yeah, I mean, we both agree that these are Sunday teams we're putting in here. You know what I mean? Which I think is fair. You know what I mean? How many do they take on Sunday? Is it top 6 or top 8?
8.
Okay. So, but I mean, let me say this. So your top 5. Make sure I have the right tab pulled up here. For the season, let's see, is Impact, Russians, Infamous, Heat, Thunder, and then Dynasties in 6th. So you get your top 6. So that's where they're sitting. Yeah, I mean, I don't think San Diego Aftermath has done quite enough yet to move all the way up. They're close too, kind of like NYX. Yeah, and other than that, the rest of these teams kind of got lucky, I think.
Yeah.
To be where they're at. But all right, anything else you wanted to say, good sir?
That's it.
That's it. This episode was brought to you by your wife because these were some of her topics. So I'm glad she had something.
Thank God.
But I thank God, that is right. But thanks everyone for listening, watching, buy merch, not buy merch. Somebody bought, I think it was my sister, if I'm being honest, bought the fucking shitty pants I put up there. So I hope they come in. I'm excited to see how those look. I don't know if I ever showed them to you.
No.
They have the George Extreme logo just plastered all over them. Just every fucking where. They are like the tackiest looking things on the planet. And someone bought them. But yeah, thanks for listening and watching, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Later.